Welcome to the One Reason Podcast. In case you didn't know, my name's Luke.
This is Noah Edward Bullock the third.
And this is the One Reason Podcast. We are testing out this new video equipment that we've got. It's actually just an iPhone. So hopefully this works well. Hopefully you guys can hear us. We're going to test the audio and see how this works. I've ordered a computer, so we're going to try to edit some more, get some more equipment in, and try to be a little bit more professional about how we do this stuff. So, but this is the new backdrop. This is Noah's man cave at his new place. So, you want to tell a little bit about the new place? And
Yeah, well, we just moved out here recently. Probably gonna be living out here. Well, I will be living out here soon, December, marrying my lovely wife. We got a house here, and then we got this little man cave. Got some of the deer. None of these are my deer, actually. That's my papa's deer. That's my dad's deer. That's my mom's deer. My deer's over there in the corner. You can't see it, but it's bigger than all of them. Not really, but it's a good deer. Today we're going to be talking about mostly mine and Luke's adventures this past weekend. We, if you haven't watched the video, go watch it. We went hunting down at Luke's farm, camped out a little bit, and I mean, had a blast. We saw, can't even count how many deer we saw. How many did we see, Luke?
oh, we probably saw maybe 3 does?
We saw 3 does.
No bucks. It was really hot that weekend. We did a lot of walking, a lot of scouting. Just not move. They weren't moving too much. I think they were in that pre-rut phase. They call it October lull for a reason. Weather's been wacky, but tomorrow's opening day of gun season, so super excited about that. After we film this podcast, I'm gonna start recording the first actual
Episode for Tweezer.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill that deer.
So if you watch the previous video, we talked a little bit about, well, that intro is for the Tweezer video because we were actually after him, and then when we decided that it was 80 degrees and probably weren't going to see him, we decided, well, if we can get a doe within range, we'll kill that and get it on video.
That worked out.
That worked out really good. So if you want to check out a really good video of us harvesting the doe, check out that first video. But today we're just going to talk about a little bit about that, kind of some stuff we did that maybe you didn't see on camera.
So first off, let me just say, Luke is very bad at planning. We said that I had ACLS, and I said, all right, after I get done with ACLS, I'm going to go home, and I'm going to go to the farm. So I get all the way to Breckenridge County, call up Luke. Hey, where you at? Luke says, what do you mean? I'm at home. So that kind of put a damper on things. So I sat at Dairy Queen by myself and ate a cheeseburger that tasted like cardboard, waiting for him. Then went to Walmart, almost got kicked out for playing One Reason podcast on the computers there. Some woman said, hey, please stop doing that. And my life flashed before my eyes. It was probably the most rebellious thing I've ever done in my life.
And then he calls me and tells me the story of this big elaborate story of how he's almost got kicked out of Walmart. Except at that time he told me he did get kicked out of Walmart. I passed a policeman and he saw me on my phone and he followed me from Axtell to Breckenridge County. And if you don't know how far that is, it's about 15-20 miles. So my butthole was puckered up pretty tight. Knock on wood, I've never been pulled over, so I was pretty nervous about that. I was like, no, I got bigger fish to fry. There's a cop behind me. I think I'm about to get pulled over.
But then we went and we got some food. And we got bacon, we got hot dogs. And that was probably the worst mistake we've ever made in our entire life.
Mm-hmm. We ate 3 meals, bacon and hot dogs.
Luke had beanie weenies one night, and I refused. I refused to eat the beanie weenies.
I still don't know why.
They're disgusting.
I think that's why my stomach's been torn up the last couple of days.
It's gotta be. I mean, who eats beanie weenies?
hey, when you're hungry, there's a lot of things you'll eat. But Chuck said he's bringing steak over tonight.
Of course he is.
He's bringing some New York strip. We were actually planning on Chuck actually being there the next night
And bringing steaks.
and bringing some good food because he's a very good cook, and we are very appreciative of all the meals that he cooks us and stuff, and he's bringing some good stuff for me tonight. But he didn't end up coming. Had a pretty intense golf game. So anyway, Chuck didn't end up coming. Lived off beanie weenies, hot dogs, and bacon for what, 3 nights? No, 3 meals.
No. We stayed Thursday night, Friday night, left Saturday morning. So yeah, it was dinner one night, lunch one morning, dinner. Yeah, you're right. My bad. That's on me.
It's okay. It was just
Felt like a longer time
it
to me.
was-
In my head,
yeah.
it felt a lot longer. I was starving to death.
It was pretty rough on me.
But when we got there, I saw 4 deer. I saw more deer when I was driving up to the trailer in the woods than we saw all week. And then I decided that I drive a car, and I decided that the best thing to me for do is drive up that hill. Bottomed out, thought I broke my car. I didn't, which is good. It's okay. And then we got there that night. Because Luke made us late, we sat in the hayfield. We were supposed to sit in Chuck's stand, which that night Chuck sent us a picture of the drop tine buck at Chuck's stand. But we were sitting there watching woodpeckers and does and a possum.
And a possum. So we talk about these deer. I've got names for them all. I haven't dropped any pictures of them yet. Number 1, I don't want to jinx myself, and number 2 is I really don't want a lot of people knowing that these deer are around my farm because
so many people live in Breckenridge County.
it's not that. It's like there's people that hunt that WMA that I'm not going to name, and I can't stomach the fact of them killing one of them. So if I kill one, yes, I will release those photos and all that stuff. But if it's after season and I've not killed anything, I'll release those photos because we've talked about it. I think on the first podcast, we're about to sell our big farm over there. But like I said, so none of that picture of the deer on the first video was not actually tweezers. I think Noah put that in the video.
Which one? Oh, the big one from my farm?
Yeah. So it's
Not
not tweezers. So he's about 400 inches bigger than you.
No, he's not.
Anyway,
But so we get there that night. We hunted. We saw those. We came back inside. We both worked the night before, I think. So we're used to staying up late, and we cooked our beanie weenies and our hot dogs and bacon. Luke, we were using a plastic fork.
oh yeah,
Melted inside the hot dogs. They were disgusting. We go in, watch what's that? There's a movie Luke wouldn't have kept watching. That was goofy.
Oh, what was that?
Ben
Hall.
Ben
The
Hall.
Legend of Ben Hall.
Probably the worst 30 seconds of a movie I've ever watched. And then it's like 12 o'clock, and we're hunting in the morning early. Gonna get up at 4:30 because we thought that's when it got light outside. And we stayed up till about 2 o'clock. We played 20 questions. We played. We made songs. We did about everything you think we could do.
No, this is Noah doing all this. Luke's trying to go to sleep.
I
And every
couldn't-
time I'd start to drift off, he'd start singing a song or he'd start talking. So
I was trying to make a song, and I've got some lyrics wrote down that I'm gonna have Luke look at before he leaves. It's a pretty good song. But so we wake up that next morning, we go to Chuck's stand, and we saw one doe, I think. Yeah. Well, I saw one. Luke don't believe me, but I think it was the same deer anyways. And went back that night, didn't see any deer. Played Yahtzee. Luke got his high score, 419 points.
Yahtzee.
You left it.
Yeah. I gotta go get one.
Hey, but that thing's good luck. Luke got that Yahtzee, 419, and he was like, Yahtzee. And then all of a sudden, we look up and that doe's in about 20 yards from us. No,
I forgot.
farther than that.
Back
But
there.
But we didn't. Luke dropped it, and we didn't get it when we left. But then we didn't see the next morning. Man, it was whipping. I don't think we filmed any.
And I've got some stuff to tell you that I don't think I told you.
What is it?
So, wind was blowing maybe 30
Oh yeah, it was whipping.
with gusts of about 50. I don't know about that.
Uh,
But anyway, it was blowing pretty good. Trees were shaking. We were a little nervous. And we saw 2 deer. Maybe one was might have been a buck. I don't know. It was windy. It was hard. It was kind of hard to see. Was it raining a little bit?
It was when we first got there.
And they caught wind of us. I mean, the wind was just pulling from our right to our left, and they were on this old logging road, and I think they ended up getting wind of us and took off up the hill.
We didn't think that's where they would come out at. We thought they were going to.
Oh yeah, we thought
so we thought our wind was perfect, but vice versa.
But so it was like 9:30, and the wind was bad, and we were just like, let's go home. Got down out of the stand. We're walking up the hill out this old logging road in the woods, and this noise from behind Noah just starts crashing down.
It sounded like a herd of buffalo coming through the woods.
And there was a limb about this big around that had fallen from the tree that landed like 15 foot from Noah.
I was already praying. I thought I was dead, but it was pretty crazy.
And then earlier that morning, we heard something snap. And
I thought it was a gunshot.
Yeah.
I thought somebody was shooting right beside us.
Mm-hmm. Ended up a tree had fell on
A grown tree too.
Yeah.
When I'm saying a grown tree, I mean
Oh,
somewhere around in that area.
It
was a big tree. And then, hey, I didn't tell you this. I was leaving, and it was pouring at this point, and I left first, and Luke didn't help me. I had to clear that tree out of the way. I get up, and I get it up to about right here to try to flip it, and I try to flip it, and it falls, and it lands on my collarbone, and I thought, I'm dead. I thought, it done snapped me in half. So then I get mad, and I grab it, and I throw it, and I'm throwing all of them around, and then I take off, and probably left a couple. I ran over one, I know. But I don't know how my car got over it, but I beat that thing up.
I stopped and picked some more stuff up, and
it poured on the way home.
Oh yeah, when I was leaving, I was moving them like further out, like off the thing, so Gordon could get the tractor up and stuff, because it was a little bit narrow. But I was moving those, and I hear, and I look over, and there's just I'm talking like a tree like this big around. I see just snap at the roots and just fall. I mean, the wind was horrible. I'm glad we got out of the woods that day. We made a smart decision. I don't think if we'd have hunted that afternoon, we'd have seen anything anyway.
No, I don't either. But we thought Tweezers died that weekend anyways, because we hadn't got any pictures of him. But in fact, he's alive and well.
He's still alive.
He's alive and well.
He daylighted last night. So we'll see what happens today. Tonight, this afternoon probably would be a good afternoon to hunt. We had this rain pushing this cold front in this afternoon. It's about 60 outside right now, but this weekend is supposed to get the first really cold front of the year, and these bucks are already chasing.
Supposed to snow.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh yeah, the bucks are chasing for sure.
So
I actually have a new buck on camera, named him Popeye. Only got one eye on that sucker, and one of his sides is messed up. And I'm hoping Kinsey can kill it. It's a 10-pointer, but he's messed up on one side, and he's thick. I mean, he's got big bases. I'm hoping we can see him. But one of my buddies sent me a video yesterday. He's working on a house, and he was there. He had a doe and a buck chasing a doe in his backyard, which was pretty cool. But they're definitely chasing, and this week there's going to be a lot of deer killed this weekend. I'll stand on that for sure.
I think so too.
Hopefully, one in particular goes down. Hopefully, we get it on video, and hopefully Kinsey gets one too. I'm worried about Lucas and his filming situation.
It'll be all right.
I just don't think he's going to be able to film.
Listen, if I can get that strap around that shagbark hickory, we're game on. But it's getting it around that because that strap will catch on those.
I don't
that
think
bar.
he's gonna get it, and I think it's just gonna
You'll
be.
be all right.
It's gonna be.
Look, I shot my gun this morning at 50 yards.
Dead on.
Dead on. Listen, if he's in the corn pile,
Oh,
it's a
12
25-yard shot.
Yeah.
All day.
You're gonna kill him when.
I'm either gonna kill him or I'm gonna miss.
Which would be awful. But if you get him on video, I'd like to just see him on video.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do.
Video him.
No,
You gotta get it on video.
I'll
If
try.
you don't
I'll
get-
try.
If you don't
Listen,
get it on
I'm
video, you kill
self-filming.
him.
I'm self-filming. Self-filming this weekend. If I don't get it on video and I do kill it, I'm sorry. I apologize. I will get as much.
He will get it on video. If he doesn't, I'm gonna break his legs.
Well,
I got my buck on video.
no, you didn't.
I didn't, because it's hard to get a ratchet strap.
He couldn't even work a ratchet strap. So
Oh, let me show you my deer actually.
that's it.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing it in person. This is the deer that we've been talking about.
I don't know if you can see it. Dalton Powell did this. Shout out to Dalton Powell. He did a good job. It actually fell today off this, and it broke his back skull. So it's okay though. Didn't hurt much.
You did a good job.
He did a real good job. He's done a bunch, and he does really good. What else we got? So taking Kinsey hunting this weekend. I think she's gonna kill one. I do. That deer, Popeye or whatever I'm calling him. Hopefully he comes out. I did have a big buck on camera here. Early in the season, me and Luke saw him. We thought he would probably go 140, 150 inches. I now found out that he lost about 6 inches of mass without his velvet, and he's still a good deer. I'm hoping he can stay alive. I'll drop a picture.
What, about 120?
Oh, maybe not. But
I'm being positive.
I'll drop a picture of him right here. I don't know if it actually will, because I don't know if I can edit that good. But if there's a picture, I did good editing it.
Like we said, we're gonna try to get this working a little bit better. Try to get the mics involved, get those headphones working. I don't know what our deal is with that, but we're gonna try to figure this whole podcast, filming, all this stuff out, because we've had a couple requests to try to film the podcast, because I think it would be more appealing to you guys. So we will try that, and we're trying it right now for sure. And then, like I said, we're trying to put out some more videos, more content about hunting. We've got a couple ideas. We've been kind of shooting off one another. So, and that is the trophy that we've so longed for to have in the background of this podcast. That's the trophy that we won back. If you listen to the episode 1 of the podcast, you can hear all about that story and how we got that trophy. So
2022 Caveland Bassmaster Classic Champions, Noah and Lucas Bullock.
And so go listen to that podcast as well. What else we got today? What else is on the agenda to talk about?
Luke's going to be doing most of the Bible study this time. Didn't know we were filming today, so I didn't write much about it.
I mean,
So
like you
Luke's
said.
going to be doing most of the Bible study. I'll throw some stuff in there if I feel the need to, but he's got a good little word today.
Good, pretty long. I'll cut it in half, or I'll let you say whatever.
Oh no, you go ahead. I'll throw some stuff in there.
So the focus on today. Last one was faith and trust, right?
Mhm.
Today I wanted to focus on sin. So the world we live in is full of sin. We see it all over the news. We see it walking down the street. We see it at work. This past week, the whole state voted on a amendment to the Kentucky Constitution to change certain abortion rights and stuff like that. And it's been kind of heavy on my heart, just because I definitely don't think God wants us to kill these unborn children. So I just wanted to bring that up, kind of touch light on that. It's a little bit heavy. But I that got me thinking about, man, the world we live in is just full of sin, and it takes people to go out and to spread the word of Jesus and to study this book and learn its lessons and apply them to their lives to avoid sin. So the basis of this lesson is Romans 3:23, which says, we all sin and we all fall short of the glory of God. And that's so true. I mean, I don't wake up and
Nobody's perfect.
no. And I don't wake up and I don't think that I've not sinned during the day, because no matter how good I think I'm doing, I've sinned.
I think everybody does.
And whether it's intentional or not, we do it. And that is what we have to remember. And we have to remember that we're not perfect and we all make mistakes. And the question is, what is sin? There's thousands of examples of sin in the book. It's anything considered ungodly or against God's law, which anything that goes against any word in this text, this Bible, that you do or you commit is a sin. 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4 describes sin as being lawlessness, having lawlessness. So without law, without God's law, living a life without God is sinning. Joshua chapter 1 verse 18 talks about sin as being rebellious. So we have lawlessness and we have being rebellious. And sometimes I think walking those paths, walking in a lawless life and being kind of rebellious sometimes can possibly bring you closer to God once you find Him, because you know that you've lived a life that is bad and full of sin, and God forgives all that because He sent His Son Jesus. So what are examples of sin? We can sit here and name them: lying, cheating, stealing, adultery, idolatry, worshiping these false idols. I think Noah last week talked about worshiping these social media people, athletes, whatever. We should solely be focused on God and solely be focused on Jesus Christ being the head of our lives, being number one in our lives. I don't care. I know you're about to marry Kinsey and all that stuff, but you know, God has to stay first.
Yeah.
So Kinsey's second for sure, but God and Jesus are first. That Godhead that we need.
God molds the marriage.
Oh, for sure.
If you have God in your marriage, you put God above everything else, and it'll mold it and keep the marriage together. And I think that's what, when you see all these divorces across, I mean, I saw a statistic the other day, about 50% of marriages end in divorce. But the more time that you put God in front of everything else and have Him be the center of your marriage and have your marriage run through Him, I think that number will decrease heavily.
Oh, yeah.
For sure, I think.
And that's what, I was talking to my mom about this, and I was like, and it got me thinking, like, this week about the voting and all that stuff. It's like, and this sin lesson, it's, if we all just stopped and followed God, we wouldn't have to worry about abortion. We wouldn't have to worry about divorce. We wouldn't have to worry about sin. I mean, because if everybody in the world followed God, there's no telling what we would be accomplishing, what we would be doing. But of course, that's not the case, and it takes Christians, it takes you as believers, and you that don't yet believe, that want to learn more. It takes all of us to bring God, to bring Jesus, and to bring the light of Christ into this world. So the golden example is in Galatians chapter 5, verses 19 through 21, and I don't have it written down in my book, so You have to turn to it. Yeah. And basically, it's talking about the fruits of the evil one and the fruits of the Spirit. After Corinthians. Keep going.
I just did that. Yeah, see, it's not even there. No. Oh,
Right. So, I'm going to have Noah read off the fruits of the evil one, verses 19 through 21 of Galatians chapter 5.
it says, "Now the works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lewdness, idolatry," maybe that's how you say it, "sorcery, hatred, contentions, jealousy, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, decisions,
Jealousies.
hearsays, envy, murders, drunkenness, and like of which I tell you beforehand, as I also told you in time past, and those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God." It's like a 6-year-old reading that.
Oh, it's okay. Sometimes it's hard to understand. But we've all done one of these many things. And living by the fruits of the evil one doesn't get you to heaven. Whereas they can be fun, going out, partying, getting drunk, doing drugs, having sex. I mean, let's just be honest. I mean, it's fun, but at the same time, that's not going to get you to heaven. And that's what we all have to strive for, is to please God, follow Jesus, and get to heaven. And so then Paul goes on to say in verse 22 through 26 the fruits of the Spirit. So I'll have Noah read the fruits of the Spirit.
So 22 says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. And those who are Christ have crucified the flesh with its passion and desires. If we live in the Spirit, let us also walk in the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking one another, envying one another." That's good.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, who wouldn't want to have all those things? And you can have all those things if you just follow God and you accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. We all need Jesus. I pray that this podcast is working and molding your all's lives. I pray that if you don't know Jesus, that you hear this podcast and know that we are here to help. We don't know everything. I don't claim to. If we're saying stuff wrong, if we're taking the wrong text out of this, then please let us know, because we're not biblical scholars. But just knowing that with Jesus in your life and guiding your life, we have the way and the perfect example of how to live. If you read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, that is the earthly ministry of Jesus from the time that Mary found out that she was having Jesus until he was raised on the third day. So we have to remember that applying Jesus in our lives every day and trying to reach out and turning as many people to Christ as possible is the best solution to this world of sin. So,
What do you think, Lucas? We about done?
we're about done. I thank you guys for listening. I pray for you. And again, if you're hunting this weekend, be careful. If you're fishing, be safe out on the water. And like we said,
Hey, see you at the top. God bless.